Okay, so can you turn up a little? So every single time this person starts turning onto his stomach, it just depends on how far he goes. If he goes flat onto his stomach, I'll just take both hooks, flatten them out, and I'll go for a rear naked choke. I don't really have to do anything else. But for right now, if he turns and he gets halfway, he gets somewhere that he feels that he's strong enough. Can you move back a little bit? They say, I'm always going to attack with these two techniques. I'm always going to go from one to the other. I go and I try to get the choke, and if I can't get the choke, let's say he's defending or something, I push and I go for the armbar. Let's say I try for the armbar and he starts defending, I go back to the choke. I can go from one to the other, back and forth until I get something. Something's going to happen, right? But the most important thing is that if I do go for the armbar, all right, I cannot sit down without covering his head, all right? So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to start walking just a little bit higher. I'm going to grab, if I have a gi on, usually I make some kind of contact on my own gi. If I don't have a gi on, I can just put my hand together and I'm just going to hold it for a second. What I want to do is I want to put my elbow right behind his ear and I start rolling his face down to the mat. I want him to look down. Every time that I do this, I stay really tight to his head and I'm not allowing him to move. If he can turn his head or move his head, he'll try to get away, all right? So if my knee is farther back, he'll just move his head back and he'll start turning and he'll start escaping. So I can't let him do that. Can you move back just a little bit? So every time that I get to this spot, all right, I'm hugging the arm. I roll his face down to the mat. My knee is right behind his head, and I'm keeping him there. I'm only going to keep him for a second. What I need to do is I need to replace my hand with my foot. Now, some of you guys can do this in one big step. That's fine. If you guys can't do it, it's okay for you guys to walk. But you cannot allow your hips or your butt to touch the mat without your foot being in front of his face, all right? So if I start, I'm going to show you. If I'm holding on and I sit down and I don't kick in front of his face, he starts escaping. So every time that I do it, I put my hand down, I'm going to kick my leg all the way over, and now I keep him on his back. And now from here, I'm fighting to get into the armbar position, all right? So, let me turn over a little more. There you go. The most important thing is this. I'm fighting my whole body against his arm. Even if he makes contact, I should be able to pull through and use my whole body, my back, my legs, everything to kind of bridge and extend his arm, and he's holding on. Doesn't matter if he's super strong, I should be able to break his arm free and get into that armbar. For right now, I don't want you guys to fight that. We'll show that later. What I want to do is he turns onto his side, I get underneath his arm, I lock his head down. Watch my knee. My knee is right behind his head, not allowing his head to move. Once I'm ready, I'm going to kick my leg over, and then I'm going to sit. My foot has to be in front of his head before I sit down. I slide over, sit, and once I get to here, wherever he's at, I need to walk myself up to his wrist. He gives me a thumbs up. I grab into position, holding his wrist, not letting him turn. If he turns, he'll bend his elbow the wrong way, and then when I bridge, it's not going to work. If I do this correctly, squeeze my knees together, hold the arm, I can pull, and he's going to tap out. But in reality, I'm going to hug, or I'm going to hold, and I'm going to bridge through the arm and get my arm bar way faster, all right? Make sure you guys are keeping your control on him. I'm always sitting on top of my partner. I'm not letting him move. If I'm too loose, he's gonna wiggle out, he's gonna turn, he's gonna move his hips, he's gonna start turning onto his stomach, onto his back, going to a different position. I'm always kind of enveloping him every time that I hold on. He turns onto his side, my foot gets in front of his body, my knee gets behind his back, and now I'm kind of holding onto him and I'm not letting him move, all right? Whenever I turn his head goes down to the mat. There's not a whole lot he can go. There's not a whole lot of places he can go. His head is stuck, and then from there, kick your leg over and then finish into the armbar. Anybody have any questions? Everybody's okay with this? Ready? 1, 2, 3.